Okay, welcome to the Town Board meeting, Thursday, August 5th. Please rise and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emergency exits are to my right behind the town clerk and also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Supervisor Perotti?
Here.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Smoji?
Here.
Morris?
Here.
And let the record reflect Councilman Gutierrez is absent this evening.
Okay, public comment
Oh, that was me. Where should I stand?
At the pulpit.
at the podium.
I've always dreamed of having a pulpit. Nice to see you, Michelle and Jim. It's been a long time.
Nice to see you.
And I guess I've seen all the rest of you since then, but still nice to see you. I wanted to make a pitch for the American Rescue Fund's money. I've been before you quite a number of times about housing and about wastewater. And I know that this money is kind of dropped from the sky, which is lovely, but we've talked many times about funding the engineer for the wastewater. And as we've gotten further and further into housing, it's become clearer that we have no choice in terms of developers until we have a wastewater system in the center of town. And for that reason, the Housing Board has already voted to give the first tranche of money from whatever's given by Silo Ridge or the American Rescue Funds to hire the engineer for wastewater. I think I've been asking you to do that since at least January. And I know that Jim has said that in principle he agreed that that money should be found. I know that Victoria feels strongly about both these things, and that Vicky, Jim is also, Jim and Damien are both on liaisons to the two committees, and Vicky has participated in the committee meetings, the housing committee meetings as well. So what I wanted to say is I realize there may be some regulations in terms of how you distribute the money. I know that wastewater is certainly one of the items that's included under the American Rescue Plan. And what I want to ask is, we've never gotten a vote as a commitment for dispersing this money as soon as it's available to hire the wastewater engineer. The reason that I think that's incredibly important is that the American Rescue Plan might have funded, hopefully it should be able to fund that. And we've waited more than half a year already to start the engineer. And the reason that that's significant is that the infrastructure money, which is heading our way, we have no chance of getting that money unless we have a plan for wastewater. It's not a long process. The engineer was involved in the 2012 study. All she's doing is updating it. It's $14,700 last I checked. And until we get that money and get her started, there's no chance of our getting funding from the federal government to build our wastewater system. So I've tried to, explain the urgency of that before. And I just think at this point that you should be ready to write a check from those funds as soon as they're deposited. I understand if you need to document that for the federal government, but I do know that wastewater is one of the specific things that they are directing this money towards. And again, I've been before you quite a number of times to request this. And as you know, the wastewater has been listed as the most important feature for Amenia to thrive since 1961, which is 60 years ago. And we have not gotten this to go forward. So I think before you lose the interest of the people who are on the committee, who are volunteering and have been working at this a long time, and the Housing Board who have been working even longer, I really think it's essential that you take this step and put that at the head of the list for funds coming from the American Rescue Plan. So that's it, unless anyone has any questions. Okay? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leo.
Is there any other public comment?
How's everybody doing?
Good.
I'm here to talk about the skateboard ramps that were donated by the town of Millerton. and trying to figure out a way to get them installed at the basketball courts here on the lawn.
Could you identify yourself?
I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Chris May. I live in Mosaic. So I have been in contact with Millerton, and they were going to sell the ramps, and I got them to donate the ramps to Amenia. Ever since Millerton has started their renovation project on their park, it has left a lot of people without a place to skateboard. And it is the only place to skateboard anywhere around here. I've had to drive upwards of several hours just to get somewhere that's safe and effective to skateboard. There are many, many kids in the area who are interested in starting skateboarding, who already skateboard, from beginners to people like me. I've been doing it for 25 years. And I think it's a really, really important free, outdoor, healthy activity for kids and adults to engage in. And especially now with the Olympics, it's at an all-time high. The gold medal winners were 18, 19, 22, and 13 years old. Silver medalers, 25, 12, 27, and 13. Bronze medalers, 22, 13, 20, and 16. It's like mostly teenagers. And all of these kids started skateboarding because they either had a skate park in their town, got one built, or moved somewhere that had a skate park nearby. It's one of the fastest growing sports in the world right now. It's incredibly healthy. It's incredibly important. It's incredibly safe. A lot of people don't realize how safe it is. In 2019, the Consumer Product Safety Commission said that it was 9th in terms of danger under using exercise equipment, bicycling, basketball, football, using playground equipment, ATVs, soccer, baseball, and softball. So I know that there's issues and questions about liability and risk, and I'm ready and willing to talk about those things as long as we can move forward with it.
Now, where did they have them in Millerton at the park?
They
Was it in an open area?
It used to be on what used to be, I think, an ice skating rink.
That's what the clerk
Yeah,
said to me.
and it was
Around it?
It was just a oval
Yeah.
cement pad, and they had these two ramps on it. And since they've started gutting it, they took them off, and now they're just sitting by the utilities building right off 22. And Linda Gregory has offered the use of Jack's equipment to move the ramps into place for free, which would have been one of the major costs. So,
Yeah, I know we've spoken about them going into the basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be enough room for them, or?
I believe it is, yes.
Because we do have a lot of kids there playing basketball.
Yep.
with
So
the
there's
hoops.
2 courts, or there's 2 hoops across from each other, and then there's another 2 hoops across from them, and then on the far side, it's just a big open asphalt area with nothing. And there's plenty of space there.
So there's plenty of space there?
Yes. And I've gotten out, rolled around on my board. It's perfectly smooth. Asphalt's fine. It's great. It's a great spot.
Okay, so we just have to decide whether we, do we have anything formal from the Village of Millerton offering this to us, or?
There's no need for formality. I talked also to the town clerk. She said because they were donated to them, that there's no paperwork, there's no nothing. We can, let's say we don't want the ramps in 2 years' time. She feels the research that she did to make sure it was fine, because there's usually a protocol for giving or donating municipalities. As long as we donate it to another municipality, it's all in the spirit of donating things to another municipality and offering that to
There
another
used to be
town.
many skate ramps like it in Dover, and they donated them to Poughkeepsie, and now Poughkeepsie has this
Yeah, so
quite thriving skate park. So
we don't have to do anything. The only consideration that I have is that there's like a $270 insurance rider that is recommended by Byron to make sure that this is a covered activity. And then the other question is that I understand Scott Russo, when he was the head of the Recreation Commission, felt it was important to get the blacktop sealed. So these are big ramps, so before we put them down on them, and because they don't get moved easily, is that we do the blacktop sealing before we actually move the ramps to the site.
Yep.
So that would be
I mean,
my recommendation.
as of right now, I've been out there. The asphalt seems fine to me. Not an asphalt guy. I don't know what it's going to look like years down the line. But as of right now, it seems fine. But if that's something that needs
So-
to be done, then
I'm not an expert at asphalt, but my husband said, oh, well, you know, to keep your investment in the asphalt, you should have it sealed, absolutely 100%. He didn't blink his eye. So 5,000, he said, that's what you do to preserve your investment. I did ask Scott Russo why, you know, that was such a big deal, because it sounds like a lot of money to me. But he had said, the courts need to be resealed to keep them in good shape and to prevent cracking. It also provides a smoother surface for playing sports on, which is vital. I don't think it's ever been done. I'm also under the impression that the town has the marking kit and the marking of the basketball court areas can be done in-house, which is why he never had it done in the other two quotes. So I did get another quote, because Scott was able to get the Mr. Blacktop quote for $5,050, and then there was a second proposal I was able to get from Nick Moustakis in Pine Plains or LaGrangeville for $4,500. So I think what we want to do, in my opinion, is figure out how we're going to pay for blacktopping of the basketball courts. I don't know if there is some lines in recreation that allows for that. And find $270 for the extra insurance, and then authorize Jack and Linda Gregory to go ahead and move those ramps with your direction to the placement that is appropriate once that's been sealed.
Well, there is money in some of the lines in recreation, so that's not a problem. I think there should be enough.
You want me to make that in the form of the motion? My opinion is we need to move forward or not move forward with this project. Millerton is not going to hang on to these ramps forever. They're stored, they're getting ready to restore their park, and they want them out of there. So I think we need to move forward with the blacktopping. Is two quotes
how much
enough?
Did you-
$4,500.
Did you try to get three?
I did try a third, and I did not. I tried two others, and so did Scott. He was able to get one, and I was able to get one.
And do you have the names of the people he tried to get?
I do.
Because that counts as a quote. If you tried to get a quote from a place and didn't get the quote, that counts as toward your 3 quotes.
Yeah, so it was a Poughkeepsie firm. It was called J.W. Smith Paving, and I have the phone number, but there were several that just didn't call back. Same with Scott, just didn't call back.
Okay, so what are the 2 amounts?
So there's $4,500 is for prep, clean, blowing off of any dirt, rock. You guys have this?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Prep, clean, blowing off dirt, rock, remove the debris, fill the cracks with hot crack filler, brush, apply Tarkanite, coal, tar, emulsion, commercial grade sealer. And they're going to apply that with a brush to the court. And it's $4,500. That's from Nicholas Moustakis. And then the other proposal is from Mr. Blacktop in Pleasant Valley, and that was Scott Russo's. They're also going to fill the cracks for 540 feet of cracks. They'd put 2 coats of asphalt emulsion-based sealer, and that's 17,000 square feet of basketball court. And it's $5,050. I would make a motion that we accept the lower proposal for $4,500 from Nicholas Moustakis.
Second?
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Smoji?
No.
Morris?
Yes.
Okay, I'd make a
Motion
motion
carries.
that we, so it passed, right?
Yes.
So the other issue is that we'll have to authorize, I'll make a motion that we authorize the insurance rider. And that is, where is that amount? Safety,
$279 or something like that?
279.
it's 270 and something or other, I thought. I had.
270.
Well, we would do
279.40.
that after we get the,
279.40?
Yes.
we're not going to do
You wanna
it
wait?
now.
Okay.
We're going to wait until we actually get the equipment to, unless you just want to,
I would say once the equipment, the blacktop
because
has
we
been
need to get the
installed and the
blacktop
equipment
first, and then we
installed.
can get the equipment and approve the rider.
Is the insurance yearly,
It's annual.
annual? Right.
And I would hope that that would carry on. If we install it in September, it would go through September 2022.
Yeah, it would be part of our insurance line, annual insurance line. It would be added to it.
Okay.
So you want me to make that motion or wait until we blacktop?
Well, I think we need to
Seal.
blacktop first, and then, once we're going to get the equipment, then we'll add the insurance. But we're not ready to add it now.
Okay, so the final consideration that I had in my question, in working with the Berkshire Taconic grant funding agency, I worked with one of the representatives there, that they do want this skate park to happen, and so what to do with the $2,500, because we're not going to be offering lessons. We're going to be providing a space. They are willing to help us do whatever we need to fit within those parameters. They would rather not have the money back, and we would rather not have the money go back to Berkshire Taconic if we can find an appropriate. Do you have a recommendation to the town
I
board?
would recommend, so the skateboard ramps that exist now in Millerton is kind of an incomplete setup. And so I think if we got one more item that would, so it's hard to explain, there's ramp here, and ramp here, so kids can go back and forth. As it stands now, they go this way and then they have to turn around and go back, and go this way again.
So add a third ramp.
So add a third ramp would help with safety, it would help with effectiveness of skateboarding and make it more fun. Kids will have more fun. And I think that would be the best use of that.
And the original grant did include him building a
Right,
third
but
ramp.
building ramps, they don't have nearly the longevity of the ramps that you can buy.
And is 2,500 enough to?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so you can recommend that to us?
Yep.
At our next meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could get, is there one particular company that you would get the ramp from, or
I
do
might
you get
have to-
estimates, or how does that work?
I might have to get help from someone, Vicky, maybe in the future about trying to, because a lot of these ramps, they're like wholesalers and they sell to town governments to build skate parks in their town. So it's not like I can't get it on Amazon or anything like that. So I am going to have to look and see if I can find whoever supplies the recreation equipment for Amenia, they might have
BSN
something like that.
is who we usually use.
BSM?
BSN.
And is in Nancy.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could contact my secretary, Annette,
Okay.
where I think she's spoken, she does all the ordering,
Great.
and she can tell you where you could locate it, because if there is a skateboard ramp to be found, she will find it.
Perfect.
That's great.
Cool.
Excuse me, don't we have to post signs, pay for signs for the skateboarding?
We
Like-
need signs at that park anyway, because basketball, and I don't think there is a sign that posts the hours, right?
Right.
So
That's- I
there
don't
was
think
a
it's in-
sample sign that I put in your report that Chris had recommended. So it says skate park rules, but I would just call it park
Park rules,
rules,
yeah.
right? Because there's basketball that also needs to adhere.
Okay. And then there's definitely going to be enough room for the children that are now playing basketball to play
Oh, yeah,
basketball?
definitely.
And what happens if four children want to play basketball and 4 children want to skateboard. Can they do it at the same time?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a company I use for
Yeah.
signs.
Yeah, I mean,
that
we
I
had to have a
got.
sign
The one,
for,
the company I use for the sign for the trail.
right. So that needed to be done anyway.
Okay, so we need to look at additional ramp, sign, and then
Insurance
the
ones.
insurance.
Yep.
And we'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting. And you'll get with Annette and see what you can find.
Yes, I will.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you for
Thank
coming
you,
in.
Chris.
Is there any other public comment? Supervisors report. Water district upgrade. The town board will be discussing next steps to find alternate places for new wells and the long-term plan for the water district. Altice negotiations are in progress. American Rescue Package. The town of Amenia has been identified as a NEU, a non-entitlement unit, by the Department of the Treasury. We received notification from the New York State Comptroller's Office that they processed a $224,871.79 payment to the town of Amenia, which has been received and posted into accounts recommended by Municipal Accountants RBT. Per the Department of the Treasury, NEUs will receive funds in two 50% payments. The second payment will be sent 12 months after the first in 2022. Highway Garage. The RFP for Highway Garage Engineering Services has been advertised and put on BidNet in addition to addendums. CDBG Sidewalk Grant. The Amenia Post Office area sidewalk project is waiting for the DOT work permit to be approved. 2022 budget. The 2022 budget worksheets have been distributed. The tax cap for 2022 is 2%. Budget meetings will be scheduled in September. New website. The town of Amenia, through a shared services contract with Dutchess County OCIS, is working with them to develop a new user-friendly website, which will be live in a few weeks. Amenia Town Hall staff received training this week, and information from the old website to the new one is ongoing. Town of Amenia COVID-19. The Amenia Town Hall is open for business as usual, Monday through Thursday at regular business hours. But unvaccinated people must continue to wear masks and be socially distanced. Signing the visitor log with contact information is required for everyone entering the Amenia Town Hall. COVID-19 vaccine information. Sign up on dutchessny.gov/vaccine info form or call the Dutchess County Coronavirus Information Line at 845-486-3555. Select option 1 to hear the weekly vaccination allocation updates. Then select option 2 to be connected to the Office of the Aging and added to the notification list. For anyone who is homebound, vaccine appointments can be made at 845-486-2555 to arrange for a vaccine appointment to be administered at home. Town clerk report.
Good evening. I share with the town board that the state, county, and local revenues for the town clerk's office is in the amount of $564.25, with the local share being remitted to the supervisor in the amount of $514.25. And I acknowledge reports that we have received from our building department. We received from Judy the July report dated August 4th, 2021, indicating that the total income for July was $11,291.50. From SEBI Environmental Services, where we received the July 2021 monthly update indicating that the monthly gallons used, along with any customer calls he had, the water line mark out for Dig Safe New York, and other projects he's been working on. And I do share with everybody that posted to Channel 22 as well as on our website was the announcement that Amenia Water District will be flushing our hydrants. And that was being completed this week, 8/2 through 8/6. does give us the information that temporary loss of pressure, discoloration, and air in our systems may occur. Pressure will be restored after the flushing is finished. Open the faucet to flush out discolorations or air. So I did see the comments on Facebook, and I know sometimes it's easier just to ask on Facebook these questions, so always feel free to refer to our website, www.ameniany.gov. Nancy Nowak, who works in this water district, did go ahead and post that information for us to all make us aware. With our new website that we're talking and we're proud about coming, we are going to have a Gov delivery that the supervisors arranged for us. So what we would all do as water district members, we can click that we want to have announcements, so we'll be able to get real-time announcements coming up if we're talking about our water district. So we have a lot of new exciting alerts that are going to be made available to us, but always feel, I know we want to refer to Facebook, but sometimes please visit our website because the information is available 24/7 for us. After our last town board meeting, the supervisor did notify me that I may advertise for a zoning administrator. So currently out there, the town of Amenia is seeking applications for the position of a part-time zoning administrator. If you are interested, you do have the qualifications for that type of a position, please feel free to send your letter of interest and resume to me here at the Amenia Town Hall. You can reach out to townclerk@ameniany.gov. That deadline is August 18th at noon, so that is an ongoing open position. But if we go back to last month, we did go ahead and announce that we had a vacancy in our planning board, and you guys were able to interview with a candidate earlier this evening. You met with candidate Neil Kuznets, and I wasn't sure if the board wanted to take action on that tonight, or you need some time.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Neil Kuznets to the planning board for the unexpired term that
Will
was
end on
vacated,
December 31st of 2026.
and through December 31st, 2026, as a planning board member.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes?
Smoji?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
And that'll conclude my report for this evening.
I did have
Oh.
a chance to read
Oh, you were
these
good?
prior
Okay, so
to the
thank you.
meeting,
Okay, no, I'm so sorry.
So I'll motion that we approve the July 1st, 2021 minutes as submitted.
Second.
Doyle, Michelle. Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Yeah. Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Smoji?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
July 12th, it was a special meeting.
And July 12th, I move that we approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Council members Doyle?
Yes.
Smoji?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Great. Then that'll really conclude the town clerk's report. Thank you.
Hey, I had Nancy put together separate folders for you
Thank you.
for the water district with the information we have, including John Andrews' report, and also information on the American Rescue Plan, so that you would, because I have gone through everything and looked through what we can use that money for. Marco, did you want to, I asked Marco to come to talk about the water district.
Anyway, we're going to talk about the preliminary investigation of the well replacement locations. Did everybody get a copy of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, they, Marco, you know, at his company's own expense, did a report for us.
Okay.
Right, so I'm going to just identify, there's 4 properties. I'm going to identify them as property 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're listed on page 3. So the town owns 3 parcels that we looked at, and one was, and the 4th parcel was a private parcel.
Right.
So our company looked at the geological formation of the Amenia district here to see which location would be best fit. The geological information that we found out was Amenia pretty much has got great water everywhere. East of the Lake Amenia Road. So anything west of Lake Amenia Road is in a different rock formation. And that other rock formation is not a stable rock formation. Not a great geological formation to produce water from. Volumes would be low, a lot of turbidity, a lot of filtering of that. Fortunately for us, pretty much all of Amenia is in a great rock formation, geological formation for us to drill in. Now, brings us to our next part of our findings. So, there are, at any one of these properties that we looked at, would obviously have to go to the next level of environmental investigation. So, geologically, we know we can produce water from. The whole thing the whole reason why we're looking at this is try to get rid of the Lavelle Road pump house. Being in the wetlands, high water table, climate change, and what we've seen so far, it's going to be a lot better to get out of that location and fix it right.
Yeah, there's also the danger of surface water
Correct.
getting into the wells, which would be
Yeah,
a huge
astronomical.
cost to the town.
You're right, huge cost. So we want to try to prevent that. We want to get out of there. We're not there yet, but again, future is going to dictate the climate, and everything's going to dictate how long we're going to stay there. We know that the Lavelle pump house is getting in poor condition. So we want to make sure that we place these wells in a location that's going to be long-term, that we're not going to have to go through this again. We also want to make sure that we do it cost-effective. So what we're suggesting is three of these locations, we could do this without an additional pump house. So how we would treat the water is bring the water to Washington Court or main pump house, do treatment there, have one treatment facility. These wells would be remotely controlled. Of course, they would need a generator as an emergency backup, but that's it. You know, we'd have to bring the pipes, of course, to the pump house, mix up there, treat up there, and bring back out the distribution. So very cost effective in the long term, a lot less maintenance, a lot less insurance responsibility. So three of these locations provide that. One location does not. One location, which is on the west side of the stoplight here in town, is that's location 3, is not going to fit that need. It's going to, we would be able to put wells there, but we'd have to put a pump house because it's too far away to bring the main water lines over, and also too far away, also we'd have to cross state roads and such, so that's going to be a big expense. So that would be an option that we probably want to use as a last resort. The other two properties the town owns, we would recommend a phase 1 and a phase 2 investigation, or phase 1 and possibly a phase 2 investigation, environmental assessment to see if they are viable, without, again, bringing any contaminants into the water, making sure that they're a viable source. We know, again, on top of that, if they are determined to be a viable source, the next steps would be to go ahead and drill wells and do pump tests. And the pump test would validate the throughput of the wells and make sure that we're matching or exceeding our current needs. You know, we could expand the water district is another thought, right? So expand the water district brings more revenue. So if we want to do this, again, let's make sure that we're planning for the future. We have a location we can put more wells at. We eventually are going to need a new water tank. The location up at Washington Court that the water tank is at is about 2.5 acres. There's not a lot of room up there to put additional water tank and replace the one that's existing. So the water tank would be obviously a pressure tank that would be elevated, and that would get us out of our booster pump situations at the people at the up in that location of the water district. So what I need is direction from the town to let us know if you want to go further and investigate these properties. My suggestion is to the town that property number 4, that you do some research on that one first to see if that's a viable piece of property to...
But shouldn't we check Washington Court
I would,
to see if any more wells can go there?
we would have to drill, well, to check Washington Court, we would have to do a pump test with existing wells that are there. We can do that. We know we don't have to do a phase 1 or a phase 2 up there. We know the area. We could do a pump test there and see if any of the wells would be influenced by adding an additional well. Option number, well, we'd have to put in at least, depending on the amount of water coming out of that well, we might have to do 2 or 3 wells, right? So we don't know what the throughput of that well is going to be until we actually start drilling it. But property 4 is a larger parcel, way more than we need. But again, property 4 is close to the location where we want to go in Washington Court. And it gives you room for expansion, also expansion of the water district, so housing, etc.
Didn't they want to, wasn't that a subdivision at some point proposed, and inclusion in the water district was proposed as part of that plan?
Yes.
But we declined to
Yes.
at the time?
Yes. So if, I would think that would be a discussion the town would like to have with the owner, and see if it's viable to subdivide, purchase, or lease any of those options with that. If not, then we would identify location number 3 as a second choice to test there, and then go to lot number 2, and last lot would be 1.
But why wouldn't we test first at where the pump house is now?
We can, but if you want to, I'm trying not to spend any money yet, right? So I would like to see if 4 is even an option.
I mean, we're going to have to spend something, but
If 4 is-
I think we need to see,
If 4 is off the table, then we know we go to 1. But if we don't know 4 is even an option, we should at least investigate that. I mean, it doesn't cost us, doesn't cost anybody to make a phone call.
Has anybody contacted the owners at all?
No. No.
So we don't
That's why
have
I'm
any
leaving,
idea.
I'm leaving it to the town board to make that decision. And then after that, then go to option, location 3, which would be the second option. At least we know that option, the first option that I'm suggesting, location 4 is off the table. Doesn't cost anything to make a phone call. If we know it's accessible for us to do something with, great. If not, then we move on. But if we don't ask, we'll never know.
but I still think we need to look into what exactly would we have to do besides a pump test for Washington Court?
Pump test, if the pump test is valid, then we actually probably have to clear some overgrown vegetation there, and then see what the offsets are, and see if we can get away with drilling another well or 2. So we'd have to do some offsets, some surveying that would have to be done from the existing wells. We don't need an actual survey, but we can do that with an aerial view.
But there isn't a survey there, right?
There's a survey of the property, but not a survey of the wells.
The wells.
And, locations and all the offsets. Because you have to be, from there, you would have to be the minimum of 100 foot, since we're pretty much level over there, about 100 foot clearance from any surrounding septics. So any of the other houses up there, you have to have 100 foot clearance from them, so we'd have to locate where those septic systems are. We'd have to, foil the health department to figure out those locations. We can do the offsets from an aerial view and see if they meet requirements. If they do, great. Then we can propose drilling a well. First step would be doing a pump test. And to do a pump test, we'd have to take one well offline, pump the other, pull the pump and motor out of the one that's offline, and measure the drop of water in that column.
But that would be the first step.
That would be the first step. And if that shows us that there's no influence from one well to the other, then we go ahead and propose to drill another well after we do the investigation of where to do it. And then once we drill another well, then again, a pump test would have to be performed. And then on top of the pump test, if that works, then we go for the full certification of chemical analysis of qualifying the well, the laboratory analysis.
Now, in order to replace the quantity of water that we get from 4 and 4A, I mean, would another well be sufficient, or would you need 2?
It depends what that throughput of that well is. So we have 2 wells up there now, Washington Court, combined, and again, well 5 is the one that we're having problems with lately this past year, which we've never had a problem with before. The water table is up there, unfortunately, on that well. The pump is not set low enough, so we keep drawing down past the pump, and it cuts off for low level alarms. So
So can
if
that
we
be
can get
repaired?
Excuse me?
Can that be repaired?
Yeah, we'd have to, I submitted a few months back to the board a proposal from one of the well drillers to fix that and re-drill it. That was submitted. So if you want to go ahead with that, I have to go through getting another estimate, because that estimate was only valid for 30 days. So we'd have to get another estimate from it, and then propose to re-drill the well and reset the pump and motor at a different depth.
Is it worth doing it for the
Yes.
quantity?
Yes, it's
So
still a
it
good
would be-
producing well.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, could you go ahead and get that?
Get another estimate?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And then if we can get a third well up there that can produce at least 80 gallons per minute, we could get away with 1 well.
With
what we're-
with adding only 1 well
With only
instead of
1
2?
well. Yes.
Okay.
So right now, each well up there is producing about 38 gallons a minute and 32 gallons a minute up at Washington Court right now. Each well can produce that. Lavelle Road, I have to throttle back on the wells. And again, that's the other thing, the reason why I have to throttle back on, I found out by doing this geological study, we knew we had limestone here. We have another great rock here, marble. So what I'm seeing is actually marble being powder coming into that well down at Lavelle Road. So marble is another good rock that's here.
So it sounds like the immediate need is to do the repair for well 5. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and get the estimate for that so we can get that done.
Okay. We can do that. And then, like I said, my suggestion is at least have a talk with the property owner. If not, then we go ahead and do the pump tests on Washington Court. And then if that doesn't work out, then the next property would be property location 2, and we would have to do a phase 1 and I can tell you, knowing the history of that area, probably going to lead to a phase 2 investigation, just to make sure there's no other environmental impacts into the ground. If that looks clean, and the offsets on that one are very tight. We kind of did a preliminary already, guessing where the neighbor's septic is. It's going to be very tight.
Yeah, because there's houses there.
Yep.
I agree with you though, Marco. It doesn't hurt to talk to the property owners and find out if there's any interest.
Right.
But I didn't want to do that unless I had board approval to go ahead and do that. I didn't feel it was appropriate for me to do it on my own.
Again, if purchasing that property, subdividing and or leasing, there's 3 options. If you purchase that property, it gives you, obviously, it's a lot of property to do something with. If you can subdivide
I
it.
don't think we want all 44
No.
acres.
If
we
you
want
can
5,
get, if you can
probably
get, right,
5.
5 or so acres, again, a great location to put a water tower on.
Yeah.
A great location to
They're
put
tight
solar
there.
on. A great location for a lot of things up there that you
You
can.
think 5 acres is,
I would, if we get 5 acres, that would be the minimum, I would suggest.
oh, really?
Minimum. Absolute minimum.
Well, what
If you
would
had your
be a
druthers,
better
how
number?
many acres would you buy?
Excuse me?
If you had your druthers, how many acres would you get? 10?
I would like, 10 would be perfect. 10 would be great, because again, if you want to expand the water district, if you have to drill other wells, if you have to, again, if you want to put up more solar to help offset costs, you got a piece of property you can do something with it, you don't have to look for again. And it's at a high location, which is something you want. It's got very little environmental impacts. The only environmental impact I can suggest is nitrates, nitrites, fertilizers, things like that, which obviously you would test for. And all this would be contingent, if you have a discussion with them, contingent on qualifying those wells.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to
So they
buy it and then
allow us-
qualify. You're right. You want
And
to,
then what happens if we dig our test wells? Then they end up with lovely test wells, right? If
There-
we end up not buying.
there's already wells there,
Oh.
2.
There's 2 of them.
Oh, yeah, they did drill wells. So what do we know about those 2 wells that exist? Are
Very
they-
good. Very good
They
throughput.
produce well.
Very good throughput. I don't know anything about the chemical testing that was done, the lab analysis on that, because that was not
Are they
information we could find, but
close
we
to
definitely.
our pump house or not? They're not?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah. Yeah, they are. And they're both excellent producing wells. I know the depth of them. I know the geological formation they're in. I know everything made up about them. I just don't know the water quality. The thing I would worry about with the water quality, again, would be nitrates, nitrites, pesticides.
Yeah.
But these are all things you'd have to do to qualify the wells anyway, to bring them into production. You can't just hook them up. You got to go through qualification process. Once that happens, you're golden. And I would suggest that be part of the contingency on the discussion about purchasing or leasing or whatever with those wells. Again, you have to put a generator there and controls. Controls do not have to be in a pump house. They can be outside a NEMA enclosed box. So all the main controls would be at the main pump house. These would just be sensors to turn the wells on and off. So.
Did you say that you know the production of those 2 wells?
Yes.
What is it?
Let me see if I had it in my report here. I don't know if I posted it in my report, but they exceeded what we needed. They were in this, believe this, I want to say within the 60 and 40 range.
Wow.
So we do have access to that information. I didn't put it in the report, unfortunately. But they are excellent producing wells, both of them.
So I would need authorization from the board to, for not only the repair for well 5, whatever we need to do there, but also to approach a property owner regarding other wells. So if somebody wants to make a motion authorizing me to do that.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Council members Doyle?
Yes.
Smoji?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
And then we can revisit this next month once we get more information. Now, the other packet I had put together for you is the American Rescue Plan, in addition to the monies we've already received. From reading the interim rule, what you can use the money for is driven by the EPA. I made copies of the specific information, and it says, are special purpose units of government eligible to receive the funds? So in other words, the water district isn't eligible to directly receive the funds, but we can transfer to the water district if we were using it for anything there. And so how do I know if a water, sewer, or broadband project is the eligible use of funds? Do I need pre-approval? It said we don't need approval to determine whether it's eligible. Each recipient should review the interim final rule, and I gave you that information. But basically, how we can use the money is driven by the EPA. Whatever the eligibilities are for the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, and I've given you the information on what would be eligible under those funds. Under those are actually grants that they can apply for, but what they are saying is that whatever you could apply for a grant for under the Clean Water State Revolving Fund or the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, you would be able to use your American Rescue Funds for. So that's how they are designating specifically what you can use the money for. It's pretty general, and I'll be following up to see specifically, if we can use the money for a feasibility study for wastewater, if that would be acceptable. Because eventually in October, I have to do a report about what our plans for using the money and if it meets the eligibility criteria under these two particular grants and under the EPA. So, and the Association of Town and also Senator Schumer's office offered to help the towns with that. So as we move forward with the water district and see what our plan is, we can, I'll check and see specifically what we want to do and if we can use the funds, the American Rescue Funds for it. And if it's yes, one thing in our favor is that we had the engineer already do a report on the status of our water district and particularly Lavelle Road. So one of the things they talk about a lot is climate change and anything that threatens the quality of the water that, they would be more than happy to fund. So once we have specific items that we want to spend the money on, I'll make sure that it would, meet all the approvals under the EPA so that we can use the funds for that. But it was a complicated process just to get the funds.
Yeah.
But we got them. Thank heavens. And, we'll only be getting, we have the half of funds, we have it, but we have to be, very careful about exactly how we spend it.
So is Leo correct in stating that Aaron's updated feasibility study is eligible?
I don't know, I have to call and check. I'm going to call the Association of Towns and ask them.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like it would be, because they do mention wastewater, but, I want to make sure before we use any. And if we can, we can go ahead and do the resolution at the next meeting.
I think that would be great.
But I just want to make sure, I dot all the i's and cross the t's, because it's complicated. I mean, there are a lot of different things you can use it for, but, water and wastewater infrastructure is,
That seems pretty
exactly what
clear.
we need.
Yeah.
And especially when they spelled it out, all the specific eligible parts of the, under the EPA, under those two fund sources. What would be eligible if you were applying for those grants. That's what we have to go by.
So I'm going to take it, the action items, we'll get well 5 presented or send it to you for next town board meeting to accept. For the
I can go ahead and prove it.
Don't you need several quotes, or you only need one?
You only getting one, or?
I can get others. I mean,
What's the cost typically?
I don't have it in front of me, but it was like 5,000 and change, somewhere around there. Because they have to
It
pull the pump
depends.
and motor, drill it.
It's one, that was from a well company, right?
The proposal?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
Henry Boyd, Boyd Artesian Wells.
Yeah, why don't you see if you can get from 2 other well companies?
Yeah, the only reason I'm suggesting them is because they're the ones that have always worked on the well. They know what's going on in the well, and they're the ones that came up with a solution for it. So I can get other quotes with that same solution to drill, but I don't, again, it's an estimate because we don't know how far we have to drill. So drill, test, flow rates, and then drill
But
further maybe.
I think we have to have more than one quote.
Okay, so we'll get,
Okay.
under the same specs, we'll get that all.
Yeah, if you get me 3 quotes, and then we'll go ahead with it on the next meeting.
And then you'll get back to us on whether we move forward with that location 4 or not. If not, then we go ahead and we set up for qualifying, or trying to qualify Washington Court.
Yeah, we have to check into some things before.
Yeah. All right.
And then we'll make sure it's on the agenda at the next meeting, and then
Yeah.
just move forward one way or the other.
Yep. Yeah, I just want to make sure we're not wasting time, that's all.
Oh, we're
I
not
know-
wasting any
I know
time.
it's time's of the essence with all this stuff, so.
I mean,
all right.
I
Thank you.
lose sleep over this. I just want to make sure that we have, safe producing wells
Yeah,
for the water district. But not only are we just planning to take care of the immediate problem, which is the Lavelle Road, we need to plan for the future for the
Correct.
water district also.
all right, let's do it right this time. Yep. Great.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you,
Michael.
guys.
Thank you.
Vicki, you had a report you wanted to do?
Yeah, we already went over the skateboard project. There was a letter from Bowie Zanino that I believe she wanted read. I'll read that quickly. Dear members of the board, I'm writing as the mother of 2 daughters, ages 7 and 9, who during the pandemic began skateboarding with Chris May as their instructor and have since fallen completely in love with the sport. Last fall, their lessons took place at the skate park in Millerton, and they learned to push, pump, and do kick turns on the smaller ramps that were in the park. I have attached a video of their early lessons. Being able to be outside and active while learning a new sport was one of the highlights of their year, and as their confidence and skills grew, my oldest daughter was ready to use the largest ramp in Millerton, which she dropped in on her first try. I have attached a video of that to this email as well. Chris's instruction has always been encouraging, supportive, and I've been seeing a tremendous growth in both of my daughters, both on and off the skateboards, thanks to Chris's lessons. We were incredibly disappointed last spring when we pulled up to Millerton Skate Park to see that the ramps had been removed. We have traveled with the girls to a number of skate parks, each about an hour or 2 hours away, because there are no closer options. I have heard that Amenia has been offered the opportunities to place the ramps at the basketball courts in town, and I think it would be fantastic, both for my daughters, but for so many other children in town. Skateboarding has given my girls confidence and joy. It has become part of their identities in a way that they make friends. I think it's a sport that crosses class divides and does not require a lot of equipment or funds to participate. It also just had its debut at the Olympics in Tokyo. My girls have been skating for almost a full year now, and neither one has been injured more than a bruise on their leg from being hit by their own board. They always wear helmets and have elbow pads and knee pads that they wear when they are trying new tricks. As someone who has never skateboarded, I have been shocked by how comfortable the kids are on their boards and control that they show as they master their tricks. It is my experience that they are very able to assess what they are capable of doing, and they step off the board when a trick feels too difficult. I have also witnessed this with a number of other children that Chris has taught. I think that it would be a great addition to the town, and I firmly believe that the ramps would be used and enjoyed by a diverse and passionate community of Amenia residents. Thank you so much for your time and considerations, Bowie Zanino. Thank you, Bowie. We also met with Ben Manley and Mike Flint and Roger Connor today to assess some of the audio-visual equipment that will be requested from Altice as part of their contract once it's it moves forward. Very nicely, Ben Manley has volunteered his time to help with any sound issues that we have, and we do have sound issues in the auditorium that we need to overcome. So he's volunteering his time and expertise to solve some of those questions. We need to reduce the reverberation that happens for better clarity and intelligibility of spoken word music. And we need PA systems to allow both for the live spoken word and for music performances and for audio playback. We need to add a video projector and a screen to achieve the ability to do multimedia presentations, which is standard in today's equipment, audiovisual meeting rooms. They should be able to provide that kind of visual assistance. For the town meeting room, we were talking about adding the ability to mix the sound from the laptop into the broadcast feed, establish an audio link between the auditorium and the town board meeting room possibly, so that live broadcasting could occur. And Roger Connor is looking more into that, going to work directly with Mike Flint to come up with some of his very best recommendations for Altice and get some numbers. The installation will be our problem, but we have historically gotten all of that equipment that is currently allowing us to broadcast from Altice or Cablevision. Prior to it being Altice, it was Cablevision. So I thank those volunteers tremendously for giving their input, because I think it's really important to me and to, I think, the town board that you hear and you can get this broadcast, and that there's transparency, and that we utilize all the channels, media channels that we can to get our decisions out to a wider audience. What else did I have? I was at Millbrook Horse Trials today, volunteering with many, many other volunteers. That is a huge horse trials that has been going on for years at what used to be the Millbrook Equestrian Center, but it's now called the Millbrook Horse Trials, across from Cool Park. If you're heading towards Weathersfield off of 44 towards Weathersfield on Bangor-Amenia Road, you'd see it on the left. It is going on from today until Sunday, and today we did dressage. Tomorrow is dressage and cross country. Starts at 7:30 in the morning, goes to 6 p.m. Saturday is stadium jumping and cross country. There's also going to be a petting zoo. It's kind of the family day. If you are new to the sport and you want to bring the kids and want to just check out what that's all about, you can enjoy food trucks. There's going to be 4 food trucks there, trade fair. On Sunday is stadium jumping, so that's in an arena. You sit in a stadium and you watch really the top people go first, and the top placed people, it goes in order of go. So your top competitors will be at 7:30 a.m. and it goes through 2:30 p.m. I can't stress enough how lucky we are to host these horse trials in our area. There are 400 riders and support staff that come to compete at this event. And today I saw Marcia Kulak. She was an Olympic rider with Out of the Blue. She's still competing. She's not on the Olympic team, but we see Olympic competitors all the time. Bruce Davidson, I mean, a 6-time Olympic winner, no longer competing, but his son, Buck Davidson. I mean, I'm just floored at the quality and the high, we're the only event in the Northeast with an advanced division. These are the top people. It happens to be a little lighter attendance, I think, this year because of the Olympics. But this is where people come to get ready for the Olympics. And so you'll see somebody with 5 or 6 horses all getting ready, trying to figure out which horse is going to be their Olympic one. So it's a great, great opportunity to see this in action. Housing Board meeting is going to be Tuesday, August 10th at 5:30 at the Town Hall. And I'm going to contact the fellow who has worked with Marcia Kaufman to see if he can give us a quote for maintaining the gardens around the foundation of Town Hall. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Are we currently advertising for Recreation Commission members?
Yes, that is out there, and we had no response.
Okay, when was the deadline?
Our deadlines were yesterday for with
All the positions.
yeah, for everything.
Okay, you want to put it back out? And make sure it's on Channel 22 and...
Maybe there should be a press release or something that brings some more, because I think where it's at in the Millerton News is a little advertisement. I don't know, it was hard for me to find that, even though it's a small paper.
Well, press release might be better.
I think so.
And
That
it's
could be-
always if they have room. I mean, I think that if there's a way we can sell it, to let the folks know that we need the volunteers on these committees to make the actions take place. And I joke because not many folks are, as many folks as that could be watching Channel 22. You know, I'll throw another blurb out there on Facebook. I mean, we get a lot of comments on Facebook, but we have to step up and volunteer.
Yeah.
There's a balance there. If they don't step up and volunteer, eventually you guys are going to look at them and say, okay, your taxes are going to raise because I'm going to pay somebody to do the job that which volunteers have always done. So there's that discussion that's, I mean, especially since we're talking about budget and it's going to be coming forward. If we don't have the volunteers to step up and say, yes, I'm willing to donate an hour of my time once a month to sit on these boards, to come up with new creative ideas, bring us new recreation activity, you know, talk about the maintenance that needs to be done and share your thoughts and your ideas, the board members are going to have no choice but to hire people to do what we've done for years upon years. So please, if you can, volunteer. I do know I'll be coming up, it'll be Board of Assessment Reviews September.
September.
So I'm going to include Board of Assessment Review candidate at this time. Might as well do both at the same time, but it's for all of them. And you're welcome to come to any of the meetings. We're back, we're here, we're in person. So, I mean, I encourage our residents to come and attend and participate, even if you just want to sit in the back row and just see what happens. Got to start somewheres.
I'd be willing to draft a press release for the
That would be great.
Rec Commission.
Right now, they have 3 sitting on a 5-person board.
Yeah, we need 2 more volunteers.
But I'd share that. And they
And
meet,
what are the terms for that?
I announced it at our last meeting, and I don't know if I brought it here with me, but they're 2 unexpired terms. You know, and before we know it, it's going to be the end of the year, and we're going to have another position because the year.
Unless that person decides to stay on. Is there any other town board
That's where you're
comment?
right now.
Yes, I do. Jim, do you have anything? No. Okay, Jim's
You do.
he's such a happy guy. I'm happy, he says. I have a thing about the sidewalks around the town hall, going to the back door to the gym here. They need to be repaired. Do we have a plan in place to repair them? Because I noticed, because the other weekend I started to walk there and I realized I can't walk on them.
We'll have them looked at.
Okay. That was my question about that.
So those are the 2 that are off.
And then I noticed that I know we're looking at someone coming to do the trimming of the plants in the front of the town hall, which are lovely, but they're way overgrown. And my suggestion was, is there a way that we can transfer some of those plants to the main front of our town hall, the field that we have up front there, take down the 2 dead trees that are there, the two dead pine trees, they're dying.
They're not dead yet.
No,
And besides, they're memorial trees, I'm not touching them.
oh, okay, all right. So, well, and, but that was my suggestion, that maybe, because it's so dense in the front, that maybe moving some of the plants out a little bit and around in that main area, which doesn't really have anything in it, it might just make the entire front of the place look a little bit more beautiful. Though it is lovely, the plants are beautiful there, and they're growing beautifully. So that was just a thought, I saw it, and I just thought about suggesting. Fountain Square, I noticed that it's overgrown with weeds, and I didn't know who, or if there is a team or people that go there and...
Are you on the enhancement? There should be another liaison, I don't know who that is. But yes, I go on Saturdays to water and I try and weed, but I was going to have a weeding party on Saturday at 10 a.m. If anybody wants to join me at Fountain Square, just come and bring a trowel or gloves, and you pull weeds. And you pull it out of the bricks because the grass is growing up through the bricks as well.
Am I on the enhancement committee? I don't know, I've never been notified that I mean...
It would be
I
at
think it's
the...
me.
Is it you, Jim? I think it is. I think it is. Well,
Okay.
Bring your
you
gloves
bring your
and your knee
complaints to me and
pads.
Jim.
Bring your gloves and your knee pads, or that little pad thing when you sit
Maybe I'll
down.
bring my grandchildren, because they...
Oh, they're even
Let them
better.
do that, that's even better, let them do it.
looking for
Because-
Here's something fun to do, pull weeds.
No, because I was considering going over there with
Come
my...
at 10,
With
yeah.
my weed whacker and go weed whacking right in front of the...
No, we don't weed whack there.
Oh, then I'm not bringing my weed whacker, okay. Takes care of that. I know, the basketball backboards, are they in place yet? Because I remember going to the other week.
2 are, 2 are not.
So is there a plan, or are they still in storage, or do we have any idea what? I'm just trying to check off little boxes.
I don't know, we'll have to, there's a recreation meeting, commission meeting this month, we can ask about them.
Okay, all right, so now that I've talked about all the stuff that, that sounds like a nosy Nelly, but anyway, I just wanted to talk about the Amenia Senior Picnic on Saturday, July 31st. Everyone enjoyed it very much. I had many compliments for the hot meals that was delivered, and the chicken was wonderful, and they enjoyed everything. Someone even complimented the potato chips, and I think that's wonderful. Everyone got it, we got it out. Dawn Marie and her son, Zach, delivered it down to us at Tally Ho, and we got 70 meals out in 15 minutes.
Yeah, we were quick.
They were good. It went out really quick out of that. And so I just wanted to say a thank you. So I'm going to read a bunch of names because I want to thank you all. I don't want to forget anybody. Sean Howard and his son Brody, Chris Klinger, Rich Howard, Tom Ford, Zach Klinger, Dawn Klinger, Andy Murphy, Jason Bracey, Scott Boardman, Ralph Fincherello, who helped with the packing. Ralph Fincherello lives in Tally Ho, by the way. So thank you, Ralph, for going up there and doing that for us. Chris Howard. And Tally Ho, people who helped deliver meals to some of the folks so that we could get 70 meals out. It was quite a bit. My sister Kathy Summergy, Frank and Barbara Ronovec, Barbara DeLango, Chuck Simmons, Maureen Snyder, Dawn Marie and Zach, they also delivered to a couple of people on the road. Victoria Parati delivered, and Sean Howard delivered. And a thank you to Nancy Novak, and also to Annette, who helped us get these bags, folks. You'll see, those of you who didn't get it. We got these bags, so the lunches all came in these nice bags. They're primary colors. You get a yellow one, a red one, a green one, a blue one. And also we got these little lavaliers, I think that's what they're called.
Lanyard.
Lanterns?
Lanyard.
Lanyard?
Yeah.
What's a lavalier? Is that something you wear on your suit?
No, lanyard, L-A-N-Y-A-R-D.
No, I mean, because that word keeps coming to my head, so I'm wondering if maybe it's something military, I don't know.
Okay. I don't know.
Could be, but anyway, and then get this, and you folks, when you go on the trip to Lake George, which is one of the things I'm going to remind you of, bring your COVID card, or however you have it on a card or on a phone or whatever, and this sort of thing is helpful. Lake George is sold out completely, and I'm looking into a trip down to White Plains Dinner Theater to see if they have something down there that we can get into. The supervisors told me, don't worry, we'll get bus money for that, so I'm okay with that. And then the next one will be our Christmas party. But I just wanted all the seniors that you're going, on the Lake George cruise, I'm sending you a letter. And it says, Lake George Lunch Cruise, Wednesday, August 18th. Bus will leave Tally Ho at 7:30 a.m., Amenia parking lot at 8 a.m. Bus will leave Lake George at 4 p.m. Bus will return to Amenia at 7 p.m. Bus will arrive Lake George at 10:30. We will board the boat at 11 a.m. and the boat docks at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Because of COVID, please bring with you your COVID card and face mask, and also a snack or water if needed for the trip. And also, please remember the first 3 seats on both sides of the bus are reserved for people with some disabilities, what have you, okay? So I just want you all to remember that, and you're going to be getting it. If you signed up and you're on the list, you're going to be getting this letter next week. And that's it, folks.
The time for the Morris motion?
I think so.
I move that we
8:16.
adjourn.
I'll second. So hungry.
I'm supposed to second.
Oh,
But
she
I'll-
beat you, she's starving.
Sorry, I'm
Morris.
starving.
Gosh, oh, good grief.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilperson Doyle?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Exciting.